All right, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's also April 1st, and I am not going to fool you today. Everything I'm telling you today is exactly true. But I would love to hear from you guys what your favorite April Fool's jokes were from today. I haven't really seen any. Now that my kids are no longer much in the house, feeding off of each other's ideas, there's a lot less shenanigans on April Fools. I did have my Squirtle this morning, which was funny, and then it was like, okay, let's get to the real puzzle. I'm like, thanks. But that's all. That's all that I'm going to say about that. I want to welcome you today, and I want to talk about energy again. That's the topic for these 2 weeks because we've got a workshop coming up, but I want to talk about it from a slightly different angle. So, because one thing I really want people to understand is that not every low energy day means you have an energy problem. All right. Sometimes you're tired because your body is talking to you about a bigger pattern. I don't know a better way of saying that, but you've got a pattern of energy issues happening in your life. And sometimes you're tired because you're a human being and having a human experience. And that actually, they're both very important to acknowledge, right? Um, a few days or a short period of time or are tired just because life is lifing, that's important to acknowledge and to address and to honor. But I'm going to give you a real life example for me yesterday because it was literally yesterday. Yesterday, TMI moment, people. Okay, but yesterday was my very first colonoscopy. I'm 50 years old. It's time for these things to happen. TMI Wednesday, welcome. Everything went great. Thankfully, my doctor gave me the very nice compliment that I look 35 instead of 50. And you know what? I'm going to absolutely be accepting that and basking in it for a while because um, that just always makes a lady feel nice. Even if they're lying through their teeth, it doesn't matter. I will take it. Okay, so even though everything turned out well, it came out great, as they would say. There was still a lot wrapped up in yesterday for me. There were nerves. Uh, there was a weight of doing something for the first time and not not knowing exactly what to expect. There was the fact that this had been hanging over me for a year because it got rescheduled and then canceled. So that was twice that it had been put off. And there's also that very human, for me, human experience, human reality that even when you do a good job taking care of yourself, you still don't control everything. We can do our best and try to do all of the things that we know to do to be healthy, right? We be the boss, be well. That's the name of this Facebook group. You can eat well, you can support your health, you can filter your water, and you can do all the things, and still life is life. I have a dear friend who is incredibly health conscious and somebody I've looked up to and I just admire. Um, and she was still diagnosed with breast cancer. So there are just moments when we have to come face to face with the fact that we can do our best to support the outcome we want and still not control every variable. So don't worry, I'm getting to the energy part here. What I'm saying is that whole thing that I just described, that carries emotional weight. So yesterday, even though my aura ring, I love data. I'm a data nerd. You guys know this, right? Um, even though my aura ring actually showed that I was pretty calm, and I was praying, I was letting go, I was surrendering the outcome, there was still a heaviness in my mind emotionally. And the one thing that was actually kind of amazing was that while I was lying in pre-op before any drugs, so you can't blame the drugs, before anything happened, that was the first time all day that my body actually went into a restoration mode. So we have four modes of stress, and your body, the Oura Ring measures all your biometrics. They're stressed, engaged, relaxed, and restored. And I spend most of my time in relaxed and engaged, depending on what's going on in life. Sometimes I'm having super high stress and I'm like, whoa. But yesterday it just blipped into stress, but it was pretty good. But my body went into a deep, deep restoration mode, not just like touched the edge of it, but deep down. I was like, wow, how incredible is it that my body got into parasympathetic restoration while I'm waiting for a colonoscopy for the first time in my life? And I can only just thank God for that. That felt huge to me. It was not for me. But even with that awesomeness, by 7:45 last night, I was falling asleep in my chair. Now, I don't fall asleep until bedtime. I don't nap. I don't need to. I mean, like if I needed to, I would. I woke up when my husband came into the room. He was like, "Wouldn't you rather do that in bed?" And I went to bed and I slept until 7 this morning. Now, that does not mean that I have some major energy issue, right? I don't have a major energy issue because I was sleepy, like to the point of like literally just conking out, couldn't even read my book at 7:45. What it does mean is that my body needed rest. That's the point I want to make today. Not every tired day means something is a catastrophe or some major biological malfunction, right? Sometimes low energy is situational and it is a signal. It is telling us something, and you should listen to it, right? All of it is information. A single low energy day or a week versus an overall long time pattern, all of it is information. But situational low energy can be like what I experienced yesterday, emotional load, recovery from an experience that is a good experience, right? Something that you've been looking forward to that you did and now it's done and your nerves come down and you just got this rebound, right? Sometimes it's grief, right? A friend of mine that I love dearly just lost her cat of 17 years. I mean, this cat was about 2 years old when she got her, so she had a really long life, older than my youngest child, who's 18. So, wow. And she's been tired early, right? And that's okay. She's honoring that. Stress, clearly, anticipation, physical recovery, especially from surgery. I've talked to multiple people after a surgery who are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired." And people that are normally high energy and are like, "Yeah, your body is spending a huge amount of energy fixing and rebuilding and creating new cells and healing. Like that takes a lot of energy in your body. You've got to honor that." Mental exhaustion. And in those moments, the answer is not what supplement do I need? What's wrong with my mitochondria? I know you guys ask yourself about your mitochondria all the time. If you're here long enough, though, you will. Why can't I push through? And sometimes the answer really is instead of all that, my body just needs rest and I need to listen. I need to let myself go to bed early. It's okay. Um, so when you're in a season of emotional depletion, like my friend with her cat, sleep is part of how the body recovers physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's important to honor that, but patterns are different. So let's get to the other side of it. If you're always tired at the same time, most of the time, if you always crash after lunch, or if you're always groggy in the morning, if you always want to sit down and not get back up after dinner, I used to do that. I was like, once I hit the chair, I wasn't moving till bedtime. If you always have cravings at the same time every day, what are your patterns? What are your daily patterns? Um, honest to goodness, when I was working in the office, I swear to God, there were days where I felt like myself falling asleep at my desk with drool coming out my mouth at 3:30 in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've got to move. Um, that kind of a thing is different. That is a pattern. And patterns, like I said earlier, information. And that's why the question I've been asking lately isn't just why am I tired? Um, I've been asking you guys over the last week in the group here, not just why am I tired? When does my energy disappear? Because that timing tells a story. If your energy is off in the morning, it's a clue. Like these are all things we've been talking about over the last week. It falls apart in the afternoon, that points in a different direction. If you're done by evening every single day, that tells us something too. And those patterns help us understand, are we looking at sleep quality? Are we looking at blood sugar swings, diet, stress load, underfueling, undereating? Big one, guys. Big one. We are in this diet mentality and we think we just have to restrict more. Inactivity, like, inactivity breeds low energy. Your body is like, well, I guess I don't need to create more energy because we're not moving anyway, right? Poor recovery, you're not giving yourself enough time to recover from any, from physical or mental or emotional stress. Maybe your body has gone into that metabolic adaptation or that physiologic adaptation that we've talked about here and there inside this group in prior trainings, that it's just gotten used to conserving energy instead of making and using more of it. Our energy isn't just about food, it's about our whole entire self. And you guys, I probably know that by now, you're figuring that out. So that's another thing I really want to say. You know, energy isn't just about what you ate. Yesterday was a great example of that for me. What is all that went into that colonoscopy prep, right? I fasted for the procedure. That's 48 hours of water. And then cleaning myself out with the prep and the stress that is on your body to just be processing that much electrolyte and fluid and going like all of that. It's just physically demanding on your body, right? Even though after it, I had a beautiful, nourishing dinner. I had my anti-inflammatory egg drop soup, along with some fresh yogurt mixed in with a little of gut healing cocoa powder that I absolutely adore. It's got some really fantastic things for rehabilitating your gut and some probiotics. Oh my gosh, I gave my gut all the love afterward, right? It deserved it. Worked really hard. Um, and I was intentionally replenishing after being cleared out for 2 days. So this wasn't just a Stephanie ate junk and now she feels bad situation. This was a whole body situation. Emotional load affects your energy. Stress affects your energy. Recovery affects your energy. Your experience of life affects your energy. And all of that ultimately affects your mitochondrial function too, because that is actually where our energy happens. Brain energy, body energy, physical energy. It all comes down to those little guys and whether or not they're producing energy or not. And they don't, just because they're there doesn't mean that they're producing energy. And we're going to talk about that next week. So when we talk about energy, we're not just talking about did your body convert carbs or fat into ATP, the energy currency of the cell? Harken back to ninth grade bio. No, we're talking about the full picture of what your body is dealing with, what low energy really looks like. And when I say, you know, not just whether you feel awake, but your desire to get up and do something, your drive to move, your ability to physically engage with life, your stamina, like how long can you go, your natural inclination to fidget, walk, move, do. Um, I'm always moving even when I'm sitting. I can't help it. Like I literally feel like I was stuck in a box. Because when energy is low, movement does go down. It just does. You sit more, you fidget less, you feel heavier, you feel less motivated to do basic things. I told you a story last week. One of my clients was just like, oh no, it's just laziness that I don't get up and do something. I'm like, it's not. That's not. That's an energy issue. Let's look at what you ate early in the day. And sure enough, on the days where she had a particular situation in the evening where she just put it off and just said, I'm too lazy to get up, there was a pattern, there was something we could identify. So when mitochondrial function, right, that is where you make energy, is stronger and healthier, people tend to move more almost automatically. You don't have to manufacture and willpower every little bit of effort. Your body actually has more capacity to move. I swear, once I actually started to get healthy and fix and repair my body, I found myself doing things that had been sort of percolating in the back of my head. And I was like, I'll do that later. I'm going to plan some weekend for it. I'm like, I'm going to just go and reorganize my pantry or clean out the spice cabinet. Like I'm going to sweep again. I just had to move. It was such a wildly different experience of my life. But that's one of the reasons why energy matters so much because it does affect your whole life. Um, so no matter where you're starting from now, give yourself grace, then be curious, right? Curiosity is important. It didn't just kill the cat. Curiosity is really important when it comes to your health. So I think the big takeaway today is this: learn the difference between a pattern and a situation. Um, that's important. You know, a day off when you're exhausted and life happened, not the same thing as repeating energy problem, but the same time, a stretch of time where grief, stress, recovery, or emotional overload makes you tired. Yeah, that might not be the same thing as your body that is consistently underpowered, but you still have to address it and honor that too, no matter what is causing your energy problem in any given moment, a pattern or a one-off. First, giving yourself grace. Second, get curious. Start noticing if this happens all the time. Like first ask yourself, does it happen all the time? If it does, when does it happen? Is it consistent? What happens before it? Do I bounce back? Do I stay flattened? Is it a rough day? Is it a repeated pattern? Oh God, the best information lives in the spot. Um, so yes, I've got a bigger thing that I'm asking you to do here because This isn't just, I love it if just this little one-off training here is going to change your whole entire life. And I hope it gets you thinking differently. This is the What's Really Happening Wednesday Live, like what's really happening in your body. Yes. But if you want to understand more about how to get your energy back on a day-to-day basis, really seriously, and I've lived it. It's absolutely amazing. My clients are constantly telling me how they can't believe how much more energy they have when we fix things. It's so cool. And I want to teach you about that. This is a workshop that my clients go to. This is where I teach them too. It's the Energy Reset Workshop. Blah, blah, blah. Say that 3 times fast. No. Energy Reset Workshop next Tuesday. Because if you're someone who has a low energy pattern, um, like I talked about earlier, I want to help you understand what's actually going on. And we're going to be talking about how your body makes and uses energy, what gets in the way, what supports mitochondrial function. If that's actually exciting, don't roll your eyes at me. What improves your energy capacity, and some fun, really fun things that people sometimes call biohacks, but also, we'll talk about some of those, but also how to know whether or not those are good for you and whether your body is ready for it, because that part actually really matters. There's something in that workshop for everybody on the energy spectrum, whether you feel mildly off or really depleted. And so I'm so excited about this one. It's very exciting. Also, my brand new website is live, which I'm ridiculously excited about. All kinds of excitement happening right now in my body. And the energy reset page is up there too. So I'm going to give you both links for that. I'd absolutely love to see you there next Tuesday, live if you can make it, replay if not. It's 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday. There is an enrollment fee. It is $47, but you do get a one-on-one with me, and we get to tailor your energy reset plan in that one-on-one, right? I really think this workshop is going to shift how you understand your body and your energy. So if this sounds like your kind of conversation, I really invite you to come and join me. I hope you've stayed with me this whole 17 minutes. And if you are here and caught the replay, let me know. Hashtag replay if you were here live. If you are here live, let me know that you're here live and say hi. I'm going to respond to any comments after because I don't get to see them while I'm talking to you guys. It's just too much. But I look forward to reading them. So please, whether you're live or replay, ask me any questions down in the comments. That's also where you're going to find the link to the workshop, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right. Take care.